into the ring, you see that glow. Black dust circling down below. Umber moves like a cut in the fog. Gone in a blink, then the whole room shocked. You swing, you miss, it's empty air. He's right behind you, already there. One bad breath and the ground goes still. Everybody freezes against his will. Smoke on the floor, smoke in my lungs. Count to one and the damage comes. You can run, but you can't unsee that shadow grin coming for me. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Race strike lands and the whole crowd falls. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Umber and smoke, in smoke. One sharp flash and you lose control. No warning sign, no steady frame, just a blur with the hunter's aim. He slips your guard, he breaks your stance, leaves your armor with no last chance. One by one they drop too fast. Cole hits silence after the clash. Everybody where the echo lands, under that blade nobody stands. Smoke on the floor, smoke in my lungs. Count to one and the damage comes. You can run, but you can't unsee that shadow grin coming for me. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Race strike lands and the whole crowd falls. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Umber and smoke, in smoke. One sharp slash and you lose control. Now the arena holds its breath. Footsteps gone, just the fear left. I see that shape in the gray haze. He strikes, then fades again. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Race strike lands and the whole crowd falls. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Umber and smoke, in smoke. One sharp flash and you lose control. Umber and smoke, in smoke. Umber and smoke, in smoke. When he appears, it's already over. Drops in deep, 4 on 6 invoker signs. They twist and click, behemoths crash, the ground won't hold. We're too small, but we won't fold. First wave hits, we get split. Armor cracks, we barely sit. Hands up high, spell lines blur. Every second hurt gets worse. Hold the line, hold it tight. Buy some time, make it right. Line them up, line them up, line them up. Do left now. Line them it. We tried to hold the choke point, but they broke through it. Shield walls cracking, minds running hot. Every lane was burning, every call got shot. A fist stayed silent, eyes on the flare. One last card in the dark, one last breath in the air. Electrolink, strike through the haze. Electrolink, turn the lost to a blaze. A fisto in the clutch, let the whole field sing. Electrolink, crowned by the final ring. Early round disaster, bodies in the dirt. Rogues thought they had us, thought the win was certain work. Sun's down to sparks now, bulwarks barely stood. Still we kept the timer like we knew we would. One more reset, one more climb. Rogues kept pressing hard, we kept buying time. A fist raised a signal clean and straight. Then the whole sky snapped open at the edge of fate. Electrolink, strike through the haze. Electrolink, turn the lost to a blaze. A fisto in the clutch, let the whole field sing. Electrolink, crowned by the final ring. They had us counted out, they had us on the floor. Then the last round came and opened every door. Blue-white fade in motion, ripping through the night. Rogues fell all at once when the link locked tight. Electrolink, last hand, last flame. Electrolink, carved off Fisto's name. Bulwarks down, shines torn, still we took the crown. Electrolink, pull the whole fight down.
All right, hello, welcome everybody. We're back in action here in Illuvium Arena. It's been a little bit. We haven't necessarily gotten the opportunity to touch Illuvium Arena, at least on stream anyway. I played 1 or 2 games off stream a couple of days ago, but finally here today, back in the arena. Looking forward to this one. Miss playing with all of you, and looking forward to today's action. My main goal here for today is to try and break back into the top 40. Of course, with all of my time in Obelisk Rising in the playtest, it took me away from the arena for a good while here. I lost many spots, lots of opportunities for people to catch up and pass me. I was fighting in the top 20 at one point, but did of course then drop down. So we're going to get into the swing of things nice and quickly. Hop on into the arena in just a moment's time. There hasn't been any sort of balance patches or anything along those lines since the Obelisk Rising playtest came out, so at least meta-wise, I'm still completely aware that's what I should be going up against. I'm probably going to see a lot of people trying to do some Inferno, try and do some Behemoth. Pretty standard stuff there. Let's see, wearing the red shirt. Let's get the suit to match. Let's see, what should I use for a drone? Sometimes I use this one. Here, the old Bright Lens Steps one that you would have gotten in the first battle, or in the only battle pass so far. Or do I just want to be a little contradictory? Let's see. Red with blue, maybe? It stands out. I like it. We'll use the Axon Hilda skin. There we go. Red and blue. Perfect. It's good to see everybody in the chat as well. Big Man JB, you're first today. Good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Work's almost done. Hopefully some temporary freedom for at least a little bit in just a couple more minutes. Now, in regards to my team, I don't have my experience boosters on right now. I'm intentionally trying to save up just a little bit. And since the playtest is going on, I personally feel like I wouldn't be able to truly utilize the boosts right now, because if my attention's split between wanting to grind arena and then wanting to do the playtest, I would not be utilizing that booster anywhere near as much as I should. So I'm going to refrain from using it for now, give my fuel an opportunity to kind of stack up a little bit, and then go from there. So in terms of leveling, we're not going to be probably doing too much of that here today. But again, it's more so the leaderboard points that I'm more so worried about here for today. And just playing with all of you, of course. I'm absolutely looking forward to that. They're still in the top 60. Perfect. Very, very nice. Let's see who has made some moves, actually, in the last little bit. So we were talking about it a bit yesterday. 21 Knight making it all the way up to first. It's first time in a while, again, that we've seen either Bart, Fox Spirit, whatever you want to call them. Sale 7000 dropping out of the podium for the first time in months. That was kind of crazy. Then Hector in second, Thanatos third, then Antoshino and Badul. But of the people in this top 5, I do believe Antoshino now has access to the playtest. I believe Badul has access to the playtest as well. In fact, yes, for sure they did. We've ran into them before. And there, Drac definitely does. Anybody else that I had seen that I think would have been in there? Maybe not, actually. So everybody else getting the opportunity to fire on up here. Good to see a couple of our Illuvium newcomers. I say newcomers, but it's been about a month now here for Matter and Kira. They were both up there now. Kira all the way up to 18th. Matter 1 into the top 35. Very, very nice there. Awaken nearly in the top 35 as well. Very nice. And there I am in 42nd as of right now. Got past Blaze and Zev to squeak into that top 40. That's going to be the goal here for today. It's definitely doable. It's basically 50 points of difference. I have a couple good games. Maybe we can get it. Reem, Kirito, good to see you both. Hope you're having a fantastic day. In regards to the Illuvium Arena House League prizes, those have been sent out, actually. So make sure to check your inventory, because you are absolutely going to have the opportunity to use some brand new Illuvials. The community rescue as well has all been sent out. So make sure you check your account activity, or the My Activity, or the transaction history. You'll see all the Illuvials there. Kirito, you dropped a little bit. I mean, you have been grinding like absolute mad as well. Where did you go? You're probably somewhere near me, I would imagine. Unless I just missed you completely. I might have missed you. You're here somewhere, though. Oh, you're right there in 23rd. So still, it's very, very solid. They have arrived. You're very, very welcome. Absolutely. And then for those that were getting the community rescue pricing, the one thing that I didn't necessarily mention prior is that I do take into consideration what I saw you play in the House League when I do also send those Illuvials over. So I'm looking at what you're missing, but then I'm also looking at what you're playing. So Reem, I saw there was a lot of fighters going on there for you. If you haven't gotten the opportunity to take a look, I think you'll like it. All right, game on. Antoshino, Reem, Robert Tacho. Here we go. 4 out of 8 lobbies. We got Brightland Steps, so it's okay to actually get hit early here. Get a bunch of additional credits. In fact, that might be the game plan. We'll see. We'll see what the weapons and what Illuvials come our way. That Robert Tacho, very, very close to completing their full living decks as well. I think we have a couple Lynxes, maybe a couple of tier 0s left, some of the exalted ones. And then it's just a matter of tier 5s, I believe. So that's actually kind of awesome. But in terms of who I'm playing with, if Reem ends up going for fighters, I don't think I'll have much conflict in terms of, or in any sort of contesting, is what I should say. I believe we have two different types of play styles. Antoshino can be hit and miss. They play a handful of different comps. Not sure what we're going to be getting into today. And then for Robert Tacho, they do use a handful of Scions, at least on occasion. So I could be in trouble in that regard. We'll have to see. Depends. If they go like Shock or something, then I'm probably not into too bad of any sort of contest until later when Squiz starts to be a thing. But that's assuming that they're playing what I know they like to play. As always, the weapons and what Illuvials show up for you make all the difference. Alright, Scion weapon hopefully here for me. That would be optimal, being able to use exactly what I would like. The one thing that I will note here for this matchup is that I do not see anybody in this lobby that is currently, like, that I know for rogues, if that makes sense. Speaking of which, we've got a good selection of weapons coming on through here. Reem, fighter, fair enough. Standard there. Antoshino never lets me know until the very, very end. Robert Tacho, Ripple Flail. Okay. So I think that we're going to end up going for the Earthgrass Scepter. I've been really enjoying this thing as of late. And there is Reem. All right. They've got a bunch of their augments already made, split between the Lynx and the Monk Gear. But I do have the classic double Lynx setup. Potentially grab the Chuko here as well. I'm still of the mindset that if you can just land Predator for free, that it's probably double Lynx plus Predator is a fantastic opener. Does so much damage so quickly. I can kind of do these over here. The cascading might not be a bad idea. Battle momentum, nah. Scion Imprint, maybe. But I kind of get myself in trouble when I get that one. Solid start. Fortress. Let's go Fortress alongside the cascading. Alright, there is my snail. This is my weaker of the two lynxes. Let's do something along these lines here. Tessellating. Perfect. Reem's always the slow roller, and this is a perfect map to be doing that for sure. If you do take damage, you do get credits because of it, so it helps you get to that maximum amount of interest nice and quickly. It's a perfect strat here for Brightland Steppes. Close battle here versus this bot, but we will clean it up. Missed one of my level up points. Normally, anytime I'm around like one spend worth of XP to level up, I'll go for it. So I'm a tiny bit late, but I'll do it now. Better late than never. I think I still keep the Lynx with the tessellating. Let's see, 2 Scions I already have in play. We can add you in here. It's a little bit of a messy setup, but it could work. Still waiting for what Kieran ends up saying for his update. I mean, I know at least a little bit of it now, because it was talked about in the token chat for the Discord. That's why I didn't see it, because I personally actually just hide that channel. I don't care to look into it. But I'm curious about everything else, because they were talking about launching, they called it launching products. So for me, that's always a pause, because when you're calling something a product, that's not necessarily a game. But of course, could be talking about loadout too, which is its whole own beast. So I don't want to speculate too much on it. I'd love to hear it though. Not going to need that. Not going to need that. Could potentially use the cling. And we're going to be in a pretty decent spot. We're not going to be at max credits yet, but haven't taken any damage as of yet. Same thing with Antoshino, though. I've got some more Omega Power augments coming my way. I'd argue I got the best one, where it's the shield on top of Omega Power. And there's Robert Tacho. Let's use this onto my links as well. Let's see, who's the tankier Scion here? I can do something like this, potentially. We're getting to the point where it's a little bit late for this Predator stuff to work, but we'll see in a second. One final move down to the right. I want to try and spread this out if possible. Good on the Atlas, tanking a couple, but not too many. The Link's going to be able to chew through one, choose through another. And we do get some serious damage from the Ranger as well. Thankfully, good couple shots I think are going to help us win this one. It's going to be close still, though. That Ace did a very good job. But we do still have the Flish ready to clutch things up. Good battle there, Robert Tacho. Yeah, the one thing that was noteworthy from Kieran's post is the fact that they had said runway extension. It wasn't just runway update or something along those lines, where we'd have to kind of guess to figure out whether it was positive or negative. They straight up said that it was extension talk, which, of course, from before, we knew that the runway for Illuvium was about till, say, February of 2027. Any little bit more that we can do is just beautiful. So I'm very hopeful. Alright, there's Antoshino. What are they cooking? They have that Ember Buckler, so let's go for fire. And they, I believe, were a level on me. They are level 6, in fact. So yes, that will be a tough one. The Arcane Links as well. Good shots come out through a lot of the Illuvials. Ranger, though, with a good little shot. Took a couple of them out. But we will be outnumbered, outgunned. So the flawless run, the win streak will be done for now. But now we're at max credits, and I get to decide exactly how I want to play this here. Okay, one more Archie. Atlas, Carablue. There is our Archos. Can make that switch. We're not necessarily in a perfect spot to try and bunker up just yet. We can do something kind of like this for now, though. And we do get the Axon, so Harbinger now online. I'd optimally want to get TNT, and then I'm ready to move on. Even though we were a level down, Axon just did a fantastic job of holding the line. And Archos, as always, incredible little supportive tank. Now, one of the questions could, of course, be, do you want to go for Seaforest? I do not see any additional snails on the board. Could potentially swap to Water Scion, but I like the AoE of the Earthgraph Scepter just a little bit more here. We're going to get the refunded energy cost and go for that. So TNT, and then let's move. There it is. So now I'll move all these Omega Augments onto TNT. And then I have room for one more Illuvial. Do I want damage or tank? I think I'll go for tank. Get the Carablue in there. We are, unfortunately, too late to make the Predator stuff work right now. Eventually, those Lynxes will get replaced with more tanks. As we're leveling up as well, looking for the later game Scions. So whether that be Mammoth, or Squiz, or Alfie. Going to be looking to corner bust, because with this current setup here from Antoshino, I do believe this is going to be kind of like Wildfire-esque. Scion plus Omega, that could be interesting. Water's tempting. I think we will go water, just to kind of speed up the process of getting these Illuvials to get to their Omega faster. We will level up to 7. Flish will come onto the field for just a second. And what's this? Another energy crate. That's good. We'll take the shield again. Personally, I love the shields because even though it's more of a defensive weapon, I think it gives you the best bang for your buck for Omega power too, which is kind of insane. Alright, there's Reem. Gonna take one of my Lynxes out of here. Flish. Tuck in here. Mammoth. They're going to be kind of treated as a tank as well. Switch this into a potential, like, somewhat tank, somewhat damage at the exact same time. I could go for the Water Arcane Lynx. I absolutely could, Thanatos, but I'm going to opt against it for this time being. Which I know is weird for me. For the longest time, I basically chose Lynxes every single time, regardless of whether it was wise to or not. Let's augment onto this Riptorus. Level 30, shredding my poor little Axon. But I think there's enough firepower in the back to be able to hold through. Archos will be able to tank. Heck, Fleesh is going to tank a little bit here. So we will be able to withstand. It's a matter of dealing with these empaths. There we go. Okay, level 8, healing over time. I'm fine with that. Cling, you can come join us. That'll be our third bulwark coming through. For the sake of actually hitting 5 Scion quickly, we can get the Arcane Lynx in for just a moment. I'm not going to be keeping it, but just to get to that 5 Scion threshold. Set up kind of like that for now. There we go. There we go. That's a perfect little shot there from the Lynx. Lots of fire, though. There's lots of damage, and I might not be able to hold this. Need the Ranger to get a good shot, and that indeed was a good shot. One more time, potentially. Get the back line. Very close. Very, very close. So we will take it. Okay, Mammoth check. What are we looking at for now? I do see a Squiddy. Okay, maybe Fleesh can be replaced with Squid for a second. And I'll do a setup like this in this moment. And we're almost at enough to where you get, or excuse me, we're almost at enough credits to where we can then get level 9. And that is honestly where I can stay for the rest of the game. I can just look for my late game Illuvials, my late game Scions, and I'll be in great shape. The Earth Scion weapon is pretty nice. Using that a couple times with Enchanter. Oh, absolutely. Especially even early on Dust Enchanter. If you manage to get Kuka nice and quick, it can be super, super fun and disruptive. Oh no, Reem didn't look like they had a hard time here. And they are going to be out of here early. GG's nonetheless, Reem. There's level 9. What do I wish to snag? Not looking for the Fury. There's our final Scion. Let's switch that over to Archie, or not Archie, Alfie. And then there is our dearest Squiddy. There we go. And we got an Ador at the very last second there as well that we were able to throw on. Obviously, positioning-wise is not very good, but at least we have all the pieces on the field. Now we just got to get them into the right spot. Strong against the Snake teams, not so much for Rogue and Behemoth, though. Okay, interesting. All right, and so far, we did have the level advantage this time onto Antoshino, and now we're in the driver's seat, it looks like. Okay, after finding a Scarabok, I'm going to replace the Caribou with Scarabok. Do something like this to keep my Scions safe. I think it's a pretty decent little setup here. And now we're essentially on cruise control. My Axon melted my, or your Caradulo. There was definitely the caveat that I will say my Axon is probably one of, if not my most leveled Illuvial. So do not feel bad. You're going up against my best team. So that's definitely going to be a very tough battle. I'm going to utilize the Ranger not for damage, but to get resistances. If I can get the res nice and, or the res reduction, and then immediately be able to fire off my own Omegas from the Scions, that could be pretty incredible if I do say so myself. One more nature unit. Let's give that to Axon. And can we get the Restorating Impact Reactor? We can, actually. Okay. Lots of Omega augments into the back line. Very slow in terms of trying to roll, but this setup is still pretty decent. Again, this is the full fire team. That was very scary for my team to deal with, but this is what I'm talking about. Get the Ranger shot, remove the resistances, and then have the Illuvials pop everything after the fact. A satisfying combination when things work properly. And now we can start looking. We do have another Nature Imprint. Not a bad idea. Could I find potentially... We'll do one roll here to see if we get some sort of Omnivamp. No, we're not going to get it, eh? We'll go just for this one then. Ador, Adorito now here. Perfect. Scarabok, you're now an honorary nature unit. Mammoth, evolution, there we go. Went one too far on the rolls. And Robertacho, sure enough, they are picking up a handful of Scions here, so I do have to be careful with my rolling. They did go to level 10, but I imagine they gassed themselves in this process. No, they're actually pretty healthy. 61 credits, that's very, very good. But in regards to frontline evolutions, actually, I don't know, that's a pretty even battle, all things considered. My team's holding the line pretty decently. Thankfully, their Alfie is just going into my supports and tanks. So Adorito has been able to keep it very, very healthy. And a lot of it, I think this does have to do with level diff as well. I mean, there's a couple of good levels here for Robertacho as well. We're in the 40s, so that's still very, very good. We're going to be able to hold for now. There's our next Ador. Couple of awesome upgrades in that last set of rolling. Is there any reason why I need to pull the trigger now? Antoshino does not have any Ador. Does anybody have any Ador? No. So there is absolutely no reason right now for me to hit the gas. Because my biggest upgrades that I can potentially get, of course, going into Goliath, so that would be absolutely wonderful. But if I were able to get the Adorius and then be able to then just slowly try and chip away at getting my late game Scions, well, we are absolutely golden. Now, someone else, I believe, did have Mammoth. I believe that was Robertacho. Yeah, so I can't even roll for Harbingers right now. So honestly, sometimes just hanging on a moment and pausing is the best option. All right, so now if we need that awesome shot from you right here, right now, there we go. And then the worst case scenario, TNT is set up the clutch, but it has some firepower alongside it. There we go. One more Alfie here for us. Octius is here, and we're maxed out on credits. There we go. Get my drone out of the way here. Okay, Rip Lance coming my way, level 36. And then 34 on the Umber. The fact that these are a little bit on the lower level side is going to do me wonders. Let's see, is there any sort of moving around I want to do? I mean, I don't need to prioritize my heals just yet, I don't think. And Robert Tacho's also within kill shot here as well. They did land the Aphisto, that's kind of huge. Definitely something to consider if they do end up surviving. I mean, even with the level advantage in my favor, this is still a very scary team from the Turbo Peaker bot. But I think the Mammoth has controlled the field just long enough here for my Scions to get some work done. Heck, even Adorito doing a little bit of tanking there. Perfect. Okay, and we do lose Robert Tacho. GG's. Okay. So now Mammoth is fully unlocked. Fisto is completely unlocked, and so is Dualef. So I think level 9 is still the play. I don't have another Illuvial that I would want to add, per se. There is no additional thresholds that I can hit, at least right now. I mean, I guess I could hit 6 Nature. That could be really obnoxious. Okay, more tankiness, please. Physical damage, that's fine. Give that to Goliath. Now that we have Granite online, we can emphasize that a little bit more. A little bit of additional tankiness from everybody around. I think I like that idea. Adorito, you take that. Sinolf, you got a shield for yourself too now. There we go. Fling. 2 Squiddies. Let's get rid of the Tofi. Bang, bang, bang. We're not going to go for Titanor, I don't think. 1 more Squid. And then we'll pause. I don't have to go all in. I still have 91 credits. One thing I could be doing better is actually my Rangers bonding. I had myself set up the same as my early game, where I'm set up as Mud Harbinger, but Mud is not going to be doing me any good right here, right now. So I might be able to get away with it, but I could be doing better. I can turn this into 3 Granite, or potentially even Invoker if I really, really wanted to. I think I'll go for the Harbinger, Granite Harbinger for this one. Antoshino up next. Mammoth. Squid. Mammoth. And there is a Fisto. Beautiful. So what we'll do... Restorating Impact Reactor there. Tessellating onto you. Get that. I mean, I wasn't going to go for Titanor, but I mean, if they're going to give me 3 Scarebox like that, I might as well. So we get Invoker naturally now. I didn't even need to use the Ranger. Good first start, or first shot. Of course, that's a Rampfire, a very scary Rampfire coming on through. Need a Fisto to land a couple kills here to get some additional safety with that Restorating Impact Reactor. I didn't even see the shots coming on through, but this is built to let the Aphisto try and clutch, but it's not going to happen this time. Okay, I do not want to let them get a Blotto. That would be annoying. So there we go. 1 away from Dualef now. There's another Scarabok. There's another mammoth. I gotta make a choice real quick. I think we go for mammoth first. Duoleth now online. Now we can pick up the Scarabok. Titanor now online. We are 1 away from mammoth, 1 away from Midorius. This, oddly enough, is one of the few ways that I can actually, or at least I feel comfortable, and win with Invokers. It's if I can actually get like 4 tier 5s. It's extremely late game, it's extremely expensive. But if it works, it's one of the best comps in the game. Let's see if we can pull this off still. That ramp fire is extremely scary, but we do at least get rid of the Furiox. That was almost a pretty forgiving hitbox. This ramp fire might just run us down. We need TNT with the clutch in just a second. There we go. Axon held it in place. Now we have a kill shot. Harbinger Mammoth. Slight adjustment in terms of positioning. Let's try this out instead. See if we can yeet that ramp fire out of here. Any chance we can hit the Adorius? Yes, we do. Beautiful. Maybe give you that for some additional regeneration. Switch that over here. There we go. It's just going to be a matter of if we can actually control that ramp fire, which that was actually a very good spot. My poor Mammoth is going to immediately die before it even gets a cast off, so that's a little bit of a frustrating moment. But thankfully, due to the amount of firepower that we do have, it looks like we're blowing through this backline pretty quickly. Titanor still very, very healthy. But again, we need to turn and burn here onto this ramp fire. We've got plenty of backup. That is a very scary ramp fire, but I have more Illuvials to hold the line. So GG's, I'll take the first one. Yeah, no levels this time by, but that's okay. I don't got boosters on. Silver Bushman, good to see ya. Hope you're having a fantastic day. The rogues are starting to tank out for you. Not easy third anymore. There is absolutely certain rogue games that will straight up not go your way anymore. It's not a sure thing as it used to be. Before, you can go for rogues and you might get stuck with Stabbin, and you could still easily make the top 3 just because Stabbin was so good. But there's a bunch of other team comps now that have just gotten strong as well. It's not that rogues got worse, just the other teams got better. And it's got to the point where rogues at this point would need... It's pretty critical now to actually hit your slash in, hit your Malura, and if you are contested, it is going to be difficult. Absolutely. Of course, reminder, I do have it in the description of the video, but we do have Illuvium Arena House League happening during stream tomorrow. Make sure you take a look and get signed up if you want to compete. By all means, pick either Care or Blue Cup. If you want a no ownership or an ownership off style, where everybody is on the exact same playing field, or if you want to go in for the Monarch Masters, the ownership on, but the bigger chance at some bigger prizes due to the difficulty of ownership on games. So, by all means, would love to load up with 4 lobbies like we did last week. That was very exciting. I'm looking forward to doing that again tomorrow. In regards to Invokers, though, that last game was basically a perfect case scenario of what Invokers can do if everything goes their way. Like, I was not pressured early, right? I was able to stay in the 90s for health for the longest time. And it made it very easy for me to sit at max credits and just keep farming it in. Up until the very, very end, where I did finally go for it. with nobody contesting the Illuvials. Not even Sinolf was really contested. At least in the late game. Yes, Robert Tacho had them for a little bit, but unfortunately they fell out in 4th or 5th or something along those lines. So I didn't have to spend against them, if that makes sense. Badul, good to see ya. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Scion, you please. As in, if I run into you, you're going Scion? I'll keep that in mind. Force me onto another team, are you? That's okay. While this is meant to try and rank up at the same time, I don't want to just be spamming the exact same team every game. Just the one away. There we go. Now we've got a lobby. Sheesh. Okay. We got Badul, Seiko Perico, Antoshino, Warrior Ace, Darkstar. I think Sir Button's a player as well. I can't quite remember. And then just the one bot. So there we go. This is actually very, very high. Let's go. Crystal Shores, 1 free reroll every single round. Perfect. Quick fusion crate. I'll pick up the Breach Pulse. There's 1 link, so I'm not going to say no to that. Now, someone was pinging me on Discord, actually, just asking for my genuine opinions currently on Obelisk Rising. So as I'm playing this, I will very briefly do so. Basically, so far here for Obelisk Rising, I genuinely do believe, like whether it's on the record or off, I do believe that the game's on the right track. My biggest gripe with it right now is the current quests that are in the game are very generic, if that makes sense. It's a lot of run here, go there kind of stuff. So it's not very inspiring, if that makes sense. And then my only other gripe is just due to bugs. Which, of course, that is, well, that's the intention of the playtest, right? Was to be able to find all these bugs and help squash them out. So, like, that's to be expected. But I genuinely do believe that the MMO, Obelisk Rising, is on the right track. It's a lot of fun. It's just a few edges that need to be kind of smoothed out a little bit. But personally, I'm very, very happy with it. And, like, unironically, you know me. If I had an issue with something, I would absolutely tell yous about it. Okay, let's take a look here for this game with everybody in it. So let's see. Darkstar also has the Emberling Rod. That's the bot with the nature weapon. So I'm going up against Badul. They do have Aqua Blaster, so they can go into full water or potentially go in testing Scions. I put myself in a spot where I don't have to necessarily go Scion, but I could probably still include them at least a little bit in this build. But I could also pull the trigger on a very high nature team if I really wanted to as well. In fact, I think there is a build in mind that could work here, and with everybody else picking Scions, it looks like, oddly enough, I might have an opening. Burning energy, no. Attack speed, potentially. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go for attack speed. There's the Predator duo. clean some of this bench off. Stir button. I didn't even see what the Ranger was. There it is. Level 36 on the Ranger, it looks like. Rocco held on for just long enough, and we'll be able to clean up right after that. Of course, this is still a little bit scary. The Emberling Rod kind of seen as one of the worst weapons in the game as it stands right now. Not because it's not good, just it doesn't fire off reliably. We'll call it out in a few moments because I'm sure it will happen at some point. But there are many, many instances where you just lose damage when you're using the Emberling Rod just because the second shot doesn't feel like shooting, and it's really annoying when that happens. Alright, Lynx is cleaning up that Doka nice and quick. Everybody's focused on the Grocco, best case scenario. And now they're going to be all clumped up just in time. This is, in theory, a perfect scenario for the Emberling Rod. And it did actually fire off twice. Perfect. Okay, Heady. Let's make the switch. They're a much stronger tank, in my opinion, than Grocco, but I'm not going to sell off Grocco. I'm going to keep it, just in case I do wish to push for high nature. Which honestly may not be a bad idea. Let's see. There's not much green on this board at all. So I think I'm honestly in the clear to try and go for it. Fusion. Let's go for the stealing one. Against Warrior Ace. I'm going to get up to level 5 because I know Warrior Ace loves to hit a fast 7. Let's get Grocco back into the swing of things here. Phase Breaker by chance? We're not going to get Phase Breaker. And kind of get set up like so, for at least the time being. Not going to go for the Rogue Lynx, not this time. The open world drama factions and guilds, as long as we have the platform to support it, means our imaginations are endless and what trouble we get in or not. And 100%. Like, there's a lot of people that have been like firing off comments, for example, on my streams, on the videos, saying, wow, this game looks dead. Well, first and foremost, it's a private playtest, or not a private playtest, but it's a pre-alpha playtest with extremely limited entries. So, of course, it is going to look dead. But I'm super curious, slightly concerned, but more so curious as to those, like, social interactions. Since you can straight up, like, steal somebody's catch, like, how is griefing going to be handled? And things along those lines, right? How do those player-to-player interactions end up happening? Because there's lots of potential, but there's also lots of potential for trolling. So I'm very curious as to how it'll go. Alright, Antoshino with the Rogues. It looks like Tsunami Predators, what they're kind of set up for as of this moment. My Lynx somehow still survive that onslaught. And will be able to help the rest of the tanks and the T-Anti clean up beautifully. It's leveling time. Then I have one space available. Archie, come hither. Archos. Honestly, a good little setup here for an 8 nature team. The duel's going to make this a little bit annoying. If I wanted to make this 8 nature with Aegis, they did take a bunch of Crunk, or they do have a bunch of Headies. They got the Crunk on the field currently as it stands. So I would not be able to do it very cleanly. Their level 6 versus my level 6 will go in their favor, it looks like. Now, the duel, I do believe, oh, by a long shot, has me out-leveled. So, this will be tough. Very, very tough. Second Blossom damage, potentially. I think so. Let's give that a shot. See if we can get it leveled up to 7. I can then bring Cling into the field. Okay. These Lynxes are a little bit in no man's land now, I'm not gonna lie. Any chance we can get the Cling and the Petty evolved? We're gonna get the Twine. There we go, that's 1. Verdant's online now. Yeah, 6 Nature Verdant. Well, because that's the thing too, right? If we have an odd spot where there is, at least for an Obelisk Rising, where you can steal resources, you can potentially steal catches, but there is no PvP to fight back against people that do that to you. So it could turn into a worst case scenario, a griefing cesspit, unless there's something that can be done about it. Screw it, let's just get tankier, I think. Didn't necessarily get the kind of drone augments that I would want, but I did get a Fern. I'm happy with that, actually. Okay, the Lynxes can finally be sold off. Thank you, Lynxes. Which means the only other, or I guess technically, I just have to worry about getting Foe and Ador, and then I could potentially pass off on the Graco and be in fantastic shape. Brawler crates. Do the Phase Breaker just in case we do end up getting Foe. Let's see, Bulwark Chip. So I'm right around the corner, but I'm going to get a Nature Illuvial anyway. So I'm going to go for Bulwark. Give that to this fella here. Give it to Archos. Alright, we're leveled. A couple of these freebies. Headies here. Potentially use the Cling as well. I'll end up doing for this time, just get our dear Atipo in, just for a little bit of extra shielding. First player that tags mob should be able to do the catching. Yeah, first player or first party, potentially. That'd be one way that can be worked around. Absolutely. That'd honestly probably be the safest way, because what I can see, like, if somebody just really wanted to be a jerk, they can go around, like, any area that's popular for catching Illuvials, and then just wait until it gets knocked into that halfway state to where you can then catch the Illuvial. And then just start mashing Q. Not for the sake of trying to catch it themselves, but just to whittle down the timer so that the team that wants to catch the Illuvial can't do it. And that would be a very quick way to lose people. Potentially. We'll give Facebreaker over to Trunk for the time being. Just keep those blinds in just a little bit longer. Twine should be in a bit of a better spot to utilize the Verdant. I mean, I guess for the Rogue case, this isn't bad. Not bad at all, actually. Yeah, the Verdant's going to hold the line for just a little bit longer. Yeah, absolutely. All these rogues diving into a brick wall. Love to see it. Yeah, if somebody in your own party screws up or betrays you, yeah, that's just then on you, because that's your party member. Okay, if they're going to give me a mammoth like that, we're absolutely going to take it. Something along these lines here. Dark Star. Alright. Slowly crawl towards level 9. I think, honestly, very similar scenario compared to last game. We hit level 9, and then we look for our stuff there. Been very fortunate that we've not been too heavily pressured, but Duel is the biggest threat over this game so far. Not that anybody below can't do it, they absolutely can. Let's see how Dark Star's doing. They also have a bit of a Verdant Harbinger style going as this moment. They also got the Fernite faster than I did. But my Fern is built to steal stats, so if I'm lucky, maybe it's still going to be enough to tear through. Yeah, even in the face of this Furiox, I didn't even see the snake in the corner. But our squad is just so damn tanky, it's not even funny. So much regen. Alright, there's our Fernite. So instead of having the Atipo, we can bring our TNT back in. Probably not going for full Seafarer, so we can stop that. We're probably not using an Atipo. Can we level? Not just yet. I'm going to stick right here. And then bring on the Prestige titles, honestly, would be really cool. I've talked about it a few times, but I do think the title system is currently one of the most underutilized systems that Illuvium currently has. It was brought in just to kind of let the Beyond players showcase themselves for the first little bit. It's got like Beyond Supporter, Beyond Initiate, Beyond Whale. But having that title system just screams having an achievement system, which is a tried and true way of getting people not just to play the game more, but to get the people to play the game in certain ways, different ways. Like, I know if there was a title system for Arena, for example, if there was something inside of Invoker Specialist, I would absolutely love to rock that for, like, say, like, hundreds of wins with Invoker active. Something along those lines. I'd absolutely eat that up. Absolutely would eat that up. Alright, so 5 Bulwarks, so we're super tanky. I'm just looking for my Ador or for a bow. That will complete the composition that I'm looking for. Okay, energy refunds potentially. Should healing be something I take into consideration? It would only have to be up against Zico Perico. Oh no, I'd have to go up against Dark Star. Honestly, I think getting shots out quicker is probably the better option. Let's do that. Okay, Heady. Mammoth. Burn. Okay, there's the Ador. 8 Nature is now here. Twine is here as well. Strike Augment. Snowball, yes. Hyperforce. Strike Augment. True Sight. If we're going up against an Umber from Antashino, I want True Sight. Be known as Roger Ranks, the peasant poisoner. Yeah, there's a bunch of fun things that you can make. And it seems so simple. Would love to see that. Yeah, for tournaments, imagine if there was IPL 2025 champion, or IPL 2025 like podium or top 10 or something along those lines that only you have. It's special. I'm just going to go for the pure damage, I think, in this instance. Load the Fernite. There's Badul. Darkstar is low-ish. Zico Perico does have a couple of my Adors. That's going to be a little bit annoying. So we'll use the freebies, but I'm not going to spend yet, I don't think. Who else has Twine? Darkstar? Yeah. We might just have to take a pause and be content with potentially taking a few smacks to the face here. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. And that's, like, unfortunately, as soon... I don't want to sound like a know-it-all by any means, but, I mean, I've been in esports for over a decade now. And I've seen many games, many tournaments make the issue or cause the problem where we have so much prize money, our game's irresistible, our tournament is irresistible, like, we're gonna have such a big player base. Yes. For one moment, and then nobody's gonna care once it's done. They come in, they take the bag, and this isn't even just a Web3 thing, this is just esports in general. Web2, Web3 doesn't matter. So when I saw how much money that IPL was throwing in, it's like, okay, the best possible scenario is that this tournament happens, it has all this prize money to it, and then as soon as IPL finishes, the new big update, big drop happens, and that then is what keeps the player base around. Unfortunately, there was nothing after the IPL concluded, so the timing was missed, and it just didn't quite work out as we would hope. Okay, so I've got a foe now. I'm just trying to think of the best way to use this thing. We'll do it like this for the time being. It's not perfect. Now, while my Ador might be contested, the one thing that is not is the foe. So I could potentially start loading up towards a Forus relatively quickly. Let's see if we can hold the line here versus Antoshino, though. This is very tough. That Gyro did a lot of work, lots of AoE damage. But I think my Fernite might have just ramped up enough. It's going to be close, though. Hang on there, Fernite. Oh my god, right down to the end. Sheesh. GG's Antoshino. That was an incredibly close battle. That was full-on Rogue Predator Revenant, eh? Interesting. Okay, we can get... I kind of want to keep it around for Granite, though, right? If I can somehow pull that off. Speaking of which, there's the Granite. Okay, I think I have the idea in mind, then. A lot of Fernites here, so trying to actually utilize Fernite as the main carry would not work. Where do I stick this bird so that it stops running in front of the tanks? That is always my biggest issue with trying to use foe or any of the terror birds. They're so damn quick that they almost guaranteed run in front of the tanks and get themselves killed. If we're lucky, we can take this down, and then a bunch of our... we would end up knocking Darkstar out and putting a bunch of these Illuvials back into the field. Even through the Machine Gun Furiox, we will be able to hold. So GG's Darkstar. We'll be able to take this one for now. Okay, Mammoth. Let's crawl towards level 10. We can easily snag it, I believe, in the next round. Blotto was picked up by Badul, so honestly, there's no point in me trying to fight for Hetty. And this is full 8 water Umber, eh? Your Dark Star, GG's Dark Star. Great battles. Had to step away. Didn't get rid of me that easy. I didn't think we were getting rid of you. Not a chance. Always happy to have you in. Hey. The physical reflected damage, potentially. We can do that. Energy crate. Tessellating for the shield, potentially, onto Mammoth. Level 10. Get TNT back into the line of fire. So I want to use you for granite. You get set up kind of like this. Trap my foe intentionally. Something like this, potentially. We had Zico Perico up against us now. They have a Mammoth in hand. How in the world did that Verminio sneak into my entire squad? That's definitely a raise for concern. Does it get 2 squalls out? It does, so it's a lot of Omega power lost here. Thankfully, between the Ador and the Archos, we've been able to keep our back line alive. I completely lost my foe. It is still actually in the fight. It's just chipping away. Trying our damnedest to deal with the Jotun. We do. Again, lots of air. We do have the True Sight, though, onto the Fur Knight, so that part's fine, but we're starting to lose our tank. And I think we're going to get charmed away and taken down. Nice win here for Zico Perico. All right, Adorito. Forus. 1 Mammoth. Gnarl, there we go. Let's give a lot of our HP augments to you, actually. Make this Forus as safe as I possibly can, potentially. So how many Fur Knights? Zico Perico that still has the Fur Knight. And Badul and Zico Perico are going at it. If I hold the line just a little bit longer, even if Badul wins this, I would then, in theory, if Badul is able to get the win onto Zico Perico, with all those Ferns back in the pool, maybe I can then find Blazonite here for a little bit of additional assistance. Sure enough, the Forus will go down. We might lose versus the Ghost here. Yeah, that Blotto is just very, very strong, holding the line very well. And Fur Knight got popped, yeah. So it's just a matter of Badul versus Zico Perico. How'd that go? Very close battle here for Zico Perico, but they stay in the game. 2 HP. Okay, that does not give me much time to make a move then. Holy squiddies, I wish I can go for them. Okay, going down to 40. Never mind, we're right there for the foe, actually. We're just going to try and grab it. There we go. Phosphorus online. Let's switch this up. Verdant Arcanite. A little bit of extra damage now onto our Forus. But we're still going to have a hard time hitting that Umber. It's going to be onto the Fern to do so. I'm so surprised that this Phosphorus just can't walk through. There we go. A little bit late to the party, but at least it's right next to the Verdant that is that Gnarl. Standing in the Verdant Puddle, but we've lost our tank line. That first couple of seconds just going completely amiss is going to hurt. Come on, Phosphorus, another one of those ghosting screams. You went for the Umber. That's a little bit of a nightmare scenario for us. We'll get knocked down the 4. But Zico Perico's out. One more move. I missed the Mammoth. That's heartbreaking, but we get Titanor once again. And then they have Mammoths. Do they have coin? Not really. We missed the Fur Knight until the last possible second, so we need to hope that we can somehow win this one. Let's lock that in just in case. RNG didn't necessarily go into our favor. And what sucks about this as well is that it does put all the mammoths back into the pool that I was holding. And I imagine that Badul will probably punish me for that as time goes on. We're doing pretty good, actually, though. This spread out squad, they were trying to spread out for the Phosphorus, but we're still able to clean up rather nicely. We will hold on with 4 HP, grab the Blazonite, but now I need to look for mammoths again. I need to get them into my party, potentially. Or onto my bench. The worst case scenario, where is... Okay, they only have the 1 mammoth, so maybe I'm a little bit overselling on that. That is something I'm going to keep in mind, though, 100%. Okay, I need to give that nature chip over to Titanor, 100%. They do not have Adorito. That could be another way that I can go here. Lots of attack augments. Speaking of Adorito. Damage. Percent health. Let's switch this up a little bit. True Sight onto the Birdo. Nature Chip onto the Goliath. Is there anything I could do different here? Maybe give a little bit more heals to the Ador. Maybe give you the Piercer as well. Let's try it. Mount riding in the MMO Light would be incredible. I completely agree. Next Caribou Cup is tomorrow. So in the description of this stream is the registration form for Illuvium Arena House League. By all means, get in now while you can. The Caribou Cup ownership off style will be coming back. Phosphorus is doing so much work here. Just deal with that Scoriox. There we go. Beautiful job, guys. Got them within kill shot. Mammoth. Get Mammoth. Where's Mammoth? Oh, didn't find any of them. But they're out of coins. They're out of credits. Okay, this will for sure be the kill shot. They do sell something and get the Mammoth instead. Okay. So considering I'm all cornered up like this is going to get nasty real fast. Slight adjustments coming on through here, though. Titanor over to the right-hand side. Catch the Umber. Catch everything. Let my Phosphorus take the long way around, potentially. If this could work, it might be a best-case scenario. Just got to take down the Thylacine. It's very close to going down. But again, a good stun coming out here from that Mammoth. And it's not going to be our Phosphorus going the long way around, unfortunately. But we still have our Phase Breaker. Get the healer. There we go. Swarm them down. Finish this off. Not just an Invoker player. GG's. Incredible game of Duel. GG's. Duel and everybody else that joined us, of course. Zico Perico, Darkstar, Antoshino, Warrior Race. Good to see you all. GG's. Alright, I've got probably 2 more? Alright. isn't this the NFT game? I don't treat it like it. Basically, all that I see this as is similar to any other creature capture out there. Like, this creature capture game happens to use Web3 technology and blockchain stuff to allow for player-to-player trading. And certain things, like, say, with Pokemon, where if you were caught selling Pokemon by Nintendo themselves, that'd raise a red flag and like get you in trouble. Buying and selling Illuvials is completely endorsed and supported with Illuvium. So while isn't this the NFT game, I don't treat it like it. In full disclosure, yes, like because it has Web3 technology, but like I'm not a crypto guy. I'm not a Web3 guy. I'm a disgruntled Pokemon fan that's been tired of the adventure games that Pokemon have been giving us. They have some really cute, like, fun side projects. But in terms of the adventure, in terms of the competition, I'm sick of what Pokemon has given us. And Illuvium has filled that void for me. And of course, good to see you there, Linus. First time seeing you in here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's see, registration-wise here for tomorrow's House League. We do have 9 of you so far. Looks like a pretty much split down the middle for those using the ownership off method for Caribou Cup and for Monarch Masters. So definitely looking forward to that one. Of course, for those don't know, the Illuvium Arena House League, completely free to enter event that I host every single Friday, where the Caribou Cup, it's ownership off. Everybody's got the exact same power of Illuvials. You're just treating this like a standard auto battler. And of course, you can build your collection. Build it that way, just completely free to play by playing a community game night. That's the goal for the Caribou Cup. And then, of course, those that do happen to have their own Illuvials and have a very tough squad to try and deal with and want some tougher competition, that's where the Monarch Masters comes in. And bigger prizes. Looking forward to that one. I remember watching a video about it like 5 years ago when the NFT hype was big. It's nice to still see it around. Absolutely, it's definitely come a long way. A lot of the directions like has changed a little bit, and I'm very thankful that the developers, that the staff members realize that digging super hard into a Web3, like crypto, NFT kind of audience, having those options are fine, but not making it the entire game was critical. And I'm very thankful they went that direction. Like, you can support crypto, you can support like Web3 transactions, as long as you have traditional options as well. And thankfully, that's been the way they've been going as of late, and I'm very thankful for that. When do we have Obelisk generally? If you're referring to whenever I'm not 100% sure what you mean in regards to the question, but in terms of the Obelisk Rising playtest, there is currently, of course, the playtest going on right now. It's in a very, very close-knit state. They're only letting a couple of people in, say, every couple days or so. But then there are eventually going to be doing the Phase 2 of the MMO's playtest. And in theory, I imagine it being a couple weeks or so. So keep an eye on that. If you have signed up for the playtest, there is the option or the potential that you get in during Phase 2. And then in regards to when do I stream Obelisk Rising, I think going into next week, I'm going to do a bit of a half and half. So I'm going to say have Monday Obelisk Rising, Tuesday Arena. Wednesday will be news and then the House League prizing. Thursday could be Obelisk Rising again, and then Friday, Illuvium Arena House League. So that way, we have a nice mixture of Arena and Obelisk Rising. We still get our fix as to like playing the new thing, trying the playtest, seeing what the future for Illuvium and the MMO will be. But at the same time, getting opportunities to play with all of you as well through Illuvium Arena. Plus, I want to get my rank back here. We're getting there. We had a good couple of games here, 2 wins in a row. Absolutely blessed that it worked out so far. And I'm right on the verge of being able to pass Zev. Assuming they're not on at this very moment. If I hit a podium, I basically make the pass, I think, which then mission complete. Because I might only have the one more match here for today. We'll have to see. We're on 4:50 my time. I usually end off at 5:30. All right, one more time. It's been a long time since I got to play with Gat. Okay, cool. Good luck, have fun. Gat and Badul's back. Okay, here we go. It may be a 3 out of 8 lobby, I believe. But this is still going to be tough. Same region, actually. Crystal Shore is getting the free reroll every round. Perfect. I'm going to save my components until the end of round 4, get my weapon, and then truly figure out what it is that we're building today. Because I have a few different options. One thing I didn't mention a little bit earlier, that I did get I got a new addition to the team. I was very, very blessed. Hector from Mad Dogs there, gave me a Furiox. Level 60. High TPI Furiox. I would love to be able to use it today. If not today, sometime soon. Speaking of Gatling, there they are. Alright. Got kicked back into the bot... Well, it's not the bot league, it's just the newcomer safety zone, or the starting zone and whatnot. But no, that you're in the limbo section right now, and this is a hard spot for players. I personally do believe, because they'll probably do very well in the newcomer division, but then they'll get in past that and then run into a brick wall. So they're kind of bouncing back and forth here. But no worries, Reem, we all had to start there. It's absolutely nothing to be ashamed about, not in the slightest. Okay, we has options. Let's take a look and see what we've got weapon-wise on everybody else. Gatling, potentially Scion, but Duel's going to wait for me, it looks like. Four, 3, 2, 1. There we have it. If I'm going to get Penguin, if I'm going to get a bunch of rogues right off the rip, and I'm fed a rogue weapon, it might be time to play it. I know I've got probably the lesser of the two options. It's not the Verdant Vanguard, but it's still something. Come on, Valente. Damn. That was unlucky. Combat rhythm. There we go. That's a absolute blessing. I need to get a lot of these augments switched, though. Big time. Who do I think is the strongest tier 0? Grocco. Grocco, I would argue, is the most valuable tier 0 that you can potentially get, because it has probably one of the best omegas for a tier 0, that big AoE stun. That is valuable early game, that is valuable late game, that is valuable all the time. It's also a rather tanky fella, so in terms of it doing its job, it's always going to do its job very well. Compared to something like the Atipo that kind of falls off immediately, because the Atipo has one purpose, and it's just kind of like a slot filler, unfortunately. Doka eventually gets outpaced unless you're going for mass fighters. Valente has one purpose with that silence, otherwise it's going to get cooked as well. Grocko, like, I'm never mad to still have a Grocko on my team. So in terms of the strongest tier 0, that's my vote. See if we can swarm down that TNT. That would be huge, considering that's where a lot of their damage is at right now. But I might have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. The level comparison is going to be problematic. While I did get a lot of Illuvials synergistically nice and fast, my Rogue team is not as high compared to my Scions. But am I going to be able to actually use my Scions this game anyway? I don't know. We'll have to see. Picture Kool-Aid Man with fists in the middle. Like, basically, yeah. And the thing, too, you have a handful of Illuvials as well that Grocko pairs up very nicely with. Like, let me think about it here for a second as I'm getting my augments situated. But there's a bunch of other Illuvials as well that have that AoE stun effectively. So if you can get it to, time properly, imagine you have a Grocko, you have a Stoic Lynx, you have the Scarabok line. There's a handful of Illuvials that have stuns. You can absolutely stun lock the holy high heck out of people, and it can be very tough to deal with. But it's so satisfying when it works out properly. Okay, we need to look for Chuko and the rest of our early tier Illuvials here. The Predator duo, there we go. Make that a Predator trio. Field Crate. That's not going to do me very much help. So it's a little bit slow, but I mean, we at least got it before round 10. The triple Predator, so we get a bunch of execution damage now at the very, very end of a fight. When we drop their health down to, like, what is it here? 15%, you get bonus attack damage. It's beautiful. It cleans up fights super quickly now. It's what truly lets Rogue shine for that early game domination, getting that Predator buff online. But now that I got those two, I then have to figure out when I want to pull the trigger on getting to 7. Screen Peeker, they somehow turned this into Vanguard. That's going to be problematic. So I'm going to be slightly contested. Is annoying, but not the end of the world. Using a baby Lynx the tank because I have nothing greater at this moment. A big thing that I also forgot about when doing this build, actually, is I do want to build snails. I do want to get up to TNT to get granite very fast. That's another big power spike for my ranger in particular, if I can get that done. But I've been completely neglecting snails. Okay. I think we get rid of Lynx now since we can get our Tiruro in here. Tiruro's probably our biggest damage dealer as of this moment. Any chance I could find some snails with my freebies? I'm gonna find Rhoda. There's one snail. 2 snails. And now I'd end up spending. So I gotta pause that. Do you think it makes sense to get into 0 right now with the intention of earning? No. There's currently, like, an odd spot right now where To be frank with you, Illuvium 0 hasn't been updated in over a year. And not only does that kind of like make me a little bit frustrated in regards to the, like, for people looking for the earning side of things, it's also just straight up not fun. It's basically a chore, to be completely frank with you. Go for the True Sight one. We're going up against Badul. They are going for a lot of air. They got Tempest online, it looks like, actually. I'll get back to that point in a second, though. One moment. Yeah, getting into 0 right now, I would only... Again, obviously not financial advice, but the only time I would get into 0 right now is if you're genuinely having fun with the city building process and you do not care about earning. Because as somebody who has, say, 6 tier 1 lands, 2 tier 2s, and a tier 3, there is absolutely nothing that I could do to make a dent in regards to the fuel burn leaderboards, which is what you get into if you're trying to earn a little bit. If I were to take all of my fuel every single week and try and burn it, try and get onto that leaderboard, I would end up with an absolute whopping 3 cents of earning. And that is just not worth the effort, to be completely frank with you. Awaken, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Mobile alluvial graphics and drop them into 0. Make small mini games. It would be so cool, absolutely. And that's where my issue is right now. Like, I never got into Illuvium 0 with the entire purpose of it being a play-to-earn kind of game. Like, I'd be making money by doing it. I do know that there are many that do, and by all means, if that's what you're into, by all means, go for it. I'm not going to give you a hard time about it, per se. But at the end of the day, this is a game, and I hope that people are having fun first and foremost. And with 0 in its current state, it absolutely is not enjoyable. The game, that is. We did have a little bit of a switch up there. Luca with the call out onto Dust, I absolutely agree. That's what I was going for initially, but then I ran into a Scarabok while also getting the stab in. So I'm going to quickly switch this over, get Vanguard online. I didn't get the opportunity to switch all of my augments over to my stab in, but next round we are going to absolutely be able to clean up here with stab in once I can actually protect it. I'm going to pay for it this time because I was a little too slow and was a little out of it. Unless my Gorilla can clutch this up. Let's go, Gorilla. There we go. Awesome job here from the Gorilla to be able to clean that one up. Okay, Omega for damage. I'll gladly accept. Okay, let's switch these over. 1, 2. Optimally, I want more aggression. I don't like the hybrid. Switch us over to you. My dash was kind of like my tank for a bit, but now we'll do something like this. There's dash again. I'm probably not using Vermilia. We're going to run into a bunch of nothing, so now I have to see what's going on here. So AFK CEO does have a penguin. That is annoying, I'm not going to lie. Screen Peeker has a penguin. As this fight was going on, what about the Maluras? I don't see any... That might be what I have to then roll for instead here. A reason to keep on to level 7. Then I need to find a way to get my Malura into play here in a few moments. Okay, there we go. That's gonna get us Granite online as long as I could find a way to get it onto the field. There's Gatling. Hello, beautiful. Relentless Floor Links, ready to come wreck my day. Maybe we go level 8. We'll get TNT on here. This lets us get our granite. Then, in theory, we eventually make the switch with maybe the dash. Either the dash or the Revo. One of them, I do believe, eventually is going to get taken out. We'll see what the rolls bring us here. At least by going up to 8, yes, I am kind of skewing my odds a little bit towards finding Penguin and Lallura in particular. But at least I'm going to, I'd argue, guarantee wins against anybody who stayed level 7. And at least I can actually hold on for everybody else who went to level 8. So not a bad scenario here. We did take out Gat that time. Come on, Echo Horse. We're not going to get it, so I'm going to get the precise one instead. A decent installation prize. Use the freebies. We're not going to hit. That's fine. Absolutely. Getting more eyes on things opens up many perspectives and let the creativity run wild. There we go. Now this stabbing is absolutely smacking things. Gotta watch out for that rake, though. That's still gonna be a little scary. We don't lose our phase breaker, so that worked out perfectly. Oh, absolutely. Any other Malluras in play? Oh, Screen Peeker has a full-on Mallura, so that's annoying. Yeah, Screen Peeker, oddly enough, is actually in a great spot. And they are almost to the point of getting slashing. I am absolutely going to get run over by a bot, I think. How many of the rakes are here? There's 2 there, too. There's a ramp fight over here for Screen Peeker as well. Messy. This is going to be a messy finish. Okay, the debuff. I mean, we're already set up for Granite. We might as well just do that. Okay, can we potentially hit Goliath? There's one Penguin. Some more damage coming to the side. Let's give this over to you, I suppose. So the safe option, just get more bodies on the field. If we're not going to be able to sit and roll for the big items that we're looking for, we might as well at least try to stay alive a little bit longer. Decent spot here for that Sinolf. It shot through to my TNT, but thankfully it was at least away from most of my big ticket Illuvials. But even with the extra body, we are going to get smoked. Wait. Getting attack speed over time could be valuable. I could have maybe went for 3 fire even. That might have been interesting too. Guess we'll go for the ramping up attack speed. There's Goliath, so the actual 3 Granite is now online. We have our own Rake. We have our own Lallura. Going to 50. We have a ramp fight now, too. Alright. Oh, I wonder. Okay, that was a good win for us. That was good. Okay. In a worst case scenario, because I mean, Vanguard 2 is still very good. Very torn, as you can tell. That's what to do next here. I mean, they're going to keep getting me ramp fees, so that's a nice little bonus. Going to keep staying at 50. Add another Lura to the squad. Going up against Gatling, they're on their last life of sorts. This is Shock or Shock? Sheesh, okay. Get everybody to kind of dive on fourth here. You can take the Omega Power. There's actually a purpose for that here for you. Let's see how we can do here for Scat. That is a pretty scary squad, all things considered. Good spot for the ramp fight, actually. Come on, burn it down. Big, big shot there from the ramp fight. But we need that stab and to start swinging. Going up against that relentless floor links was definitely tough, and we've already popped our phase breaker. We will be shocked down. Beautifully done there for Gat. Very, very nice. AFK CEO is dead. That was one of the people that did have the penguins. Can we hit something, please? Going up against Screen Picker, yes, it's going to be rough. Going to be very rough. They basically have the team that I would like. I mean, the tanks held the line for a pretty decent amount of time, but we didn't get to the Vanguards yet. And Slashing is still going absolutely berserk on my team. Ramp fight? Ramp fight might have been able to clutch it out here. Come on, Umber. Or come on, Rake, rather. Very close. I thought we were cooked. Finding another penguin. A little late, but I'll gladly take it. Okay, let's clean up. Building a handful of things here. I don't think Umber's in the cards. The one rogue style that was not necessarily contested here for me was the Phantom style. So that's why I started picking up aces. If there's a world where we can land Monarch and Rampfire, we might be able to make a dent here onto Badul. But we don't have much time to be able to do so. Do the burning, just tank you up as best as possible. Ramphy. That was a lure I just passed, that's annoying. We are one away. Not going to hit what we were looking for, and I spent way too long actually trying to do that, so a little bit frustrating on my end. You signed up for House League. Where can you find the match code? So I throw it in the Discord and in the YouTube chat when the time comes. Of course, that's going to be 3:30 p.m. Eastern or potentially 7:30 p.m. UTC. Man, we're so damn close. Okay. Didn't necessarily work out as intended, but we can still pull this off. So the last second switch here will be to make an attempt at turning this into Phantom instead of Vanguard. I don't usually get to rely on this ramp fight or ramp fire very often. Let's see if you've got what it takes to maybe blow this up. The duel looks like they're going to let me get some experience, though. They took a lot of their Illuvials and threw it onto the bench. No, I have to go all the way to Monarch. There's no chance that happens. You go over here, hang out with them. Hold the line. Come over to the left. You go more so towards the middle. I'm not worried about the DPS. I'm worried about the heals. Let's get rid of the Adorito quick. There we go. Now with that gone, let's burst down everything else. Nope, this is Phantom. This ain't Vanguard. Good to see you, Tota. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Yeah, we're going to miss everything else. The duel's still letting me go on easy mode, though, so I'm not... We've got, like, the Vermilier, the Gazatep, the Singe, the Kukas, all still in the background. There's the Seer. That's a nice little upgrade there for them. Same idea. Try to chase down the healer. Slight adjustment. Let's see. We might be able to get a little bit more ground covered here with our ramp fire this time. This should take a bunch down. Beautiful. Okay, so now Badul's going to be within kill shot. It's all onto this one. So a final play that I can make. One final potential push towards Malur in particular. That would give me Vanguard naturally. I am a little bit over encumbered on rogues too, compared to just staying at 7. I have 8 of them. So there's a world where maybe I can take Revo out. Okay, where's our big nuke? I mean, that's probably the way to go. Malura. Okay, we do have Vanguard now. Let's get this back to you. This over to Malura. Additional bonus damage onto you. Okay. Penguin. One final roll down potentially. Heck, maybe even an Umber if we can. Let's see. We're looking for Penguin. We will get it in the last possible second, but we're going to have to make a sacrifice. Revo, is that enough? Yes. Okay, we're going to play this as 8. Risky position for a handful of my Illuvials. This is the final battle. My Phosphor, or not my Phosphorus, my Penguin is going to get absolutely dunked on, though. So we can get the slash in. It is going to immediately get dunked away as the A-team for Badul comes off the bench ready to rock, reminding us who's in charge. Badul going to take that one. GG's. Yeah, I threw my Penguin directly into a Phosphorus. That wasn't the greatest idea, unfortunately. But it was a fun one. I'm not going to lie. That was still good. GG's. For Sota, that was also, if I recall correctly, the slash-in that you had given me. Got a little bit of airtime there. We're slowly but surely trying to level this thing up. Yeah, Badul on fire, 100%. There was a reason why they were on the podium, if not leading the entire ranks for a little while there. If anything, they've probably fallen out of it because they too have been playing in the playtest. So it's kind of gotten a bunch of us here. Now, in terms of positioning, did we make it? For the time being, of course, the goal was to get into the top 40. Well, we barely sneak in this session. Only 2 points ahead of Zev. But in terms of mission complete, or in terms of this mission, that is mission complete. So there we go. We'll take it. Yes, GG's Badul. We will be slowing down here for the next couple of moments here. I don't have enough time, unfortunately, to sneak one more in. But I guess I have the opportunity here, again, to just remind everybody that we will be having Illuvium Arena House League tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern or 7:30 p.m. UTC. The registration form for that, for this event is in the stream link here on the YouTube side of things. Basically, when you sign on up, pick whether you want to play into Caribou Cup or Monarch Masters. Caribou Cup is ownership off. If you don't have any of your own Illuvials, or you don't have very many of them, or don't have them leveled up, by all means, that is A-okay. That's what the Caribou Cup is for. You then get signed up. I put you into a lobby with players that are in a similar situation, so that everybody is on a fair playing field, at least as fair as possible. That way, it's just a matter of execution in the arena, and not whose Illuvials happen to have the higher levels. Because, of course, that is the way harder way of playing this. But there is also nothing like being able to compete with your own Illuvials that you do own. So if you do have that powerhouse of a team and you want to come compete in the Monarch Masters, sign up for that one. The prizes are a little bit higher, or rather a lot higher, if you do go into the Monarch Masters. But it's because the difficulty of Monarch Masters is just that much higher as well. I, of course, will be casting it right here on stream as well. The stream link is already on my channel, so you can be sure to join us there. I'll post it in the Discord as well when we do end up going live. And of course, any of the lobby codes, the match codes, I will be putting through the Discord and the YouTube chat as well. And we can have a fun time doing it. Love you manage the House League. I have no more complaints. It's fair and square for everyone. That's awesome. I'm glad you think so. There's always room for improvement, but I think we have it in a pretty decent spot, all things considered, right now. Like, nobody feels like they're forced out to go play into a division that they're not ready for. And if you're completely content, like, even as, like, a top player, like, I'm not going to say even myself, but say someone like myself, who has a bunch of, like, relatively high-level Illuvials, even if I just felt like having an ownership off day and just play Caribou, I can do that. And that's completely A-okay. There's no, like, me coming down doesn't hurt the newcomer experience per se. So it actually just works out. It's just a matter of studying the game and executing on the battlefield, and not just completely winning just off of levels alone. And then, I mean, for people that are in the Monarch Masters, I know for most of them, they do have completed collections, like full-on living dexes. But being able to get the Illuvials still, whether it be for maybe some Bond food when Obelisk Rising comes out, or if they're heavily into deathmatch, heck, they could do it that way. I think we've covered a lot of bases. I don't want to call it perfect, but it feels pretty good right now. We've only had the 1 week, of course, with this setup. Of course, I'm open-minded to the idea that there is still plenty of work to be done. But, again, it's in a pretty decent spot right now, it feels like. In regards to the schedule, I'm going to be taking, of course, the weekend off, but we will be getting back to 5 days of streaming again this week coming up. Monday, we're going to go over Obelisk Rising. In regards to the topic, I'm not 100% sure. However, part of me really wants to hunt and put together a full-on water team. I'm curious as to what maybe the best water team I can make in 2 hours could look like. Maybe that's the kind of activity that we can do. Then on Tuesday, we'll be back in the Illuvium Arena. Whether it be a ranked day or maybe I put some sort of stipulation in the arena, we're not 100% sure, but we'll get there. Wednesday, we'll have This Week in Illuvium, all the news, which especially if Kieran has an update of some sort, which I imagine is almost, it must be just about Australian morning here. So maybe they'll be waking up and sending that off sometime soon. We'll go over all of that and more on Wednesday's stream. Thursday, we'll be back in Obelisk Rising. Then Wednesday, we will have some more Illuvium Arena House League. So plenty of streams on here. We will be wrapping up for today. So make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. I'm trying my damnedest to build this channel strictly off of Illuvium content. Even if people keep calling me stupid for doing so, I'm still just having a fun time doing it. And as long as I'm having a fun time here with Illuvium, here with the community, we will continue to do that. But for now, it's dinner time. I gotta call it a night. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. For those that played as well, GG's. I look forward to seeing you all in competition tomorrow for Illuvium Arena House League. Take care, everybody.